Let's be real. Stress is just a constant part of modern life, right? But what if I told you the best fix wasn't something you get from a pharmacy, but was literally right outside your front door? Well, today we're going to break down the science behind the perfect dose of nature for your brain.
I mean, who doesn't feel this sometimes? The constant noise, the rush, the sheer pace of living in a city, it all adds up. That pressure can feel absolutely relentless, and finding a real way to decompress is more crucial than ever.
So, just imagine for a second, a simple, powerful treatment for stress that's totally free, easy to get, and has absolutely zero negative side effects. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it turns out something pretty darn close to that already exists.
They call it a nature pill. And get this, healthcare providers are already starting to prescribe them. But this brought up a massive question for scientists. What's the right dose? You know, for the best effect, how long do you actually need to spend in nature to really feel those benefits? So how do you prove it works? Well, researchers knew they had to go beyond just asking people, hey, how do you feel? They needed a hard, objective way to measure what was actually happening inside the body in response to nature. So they put together this really clever 8-week study with 36 people who lived in the city. And what I think made this study so powerful was how it worked in the real world. Participants just had to have a nature experience at least 3 times a week for 10 minutes or more, whenever and wherever they wanted. That flexibility is so key.
And here's the secret sauce. Instead of just relying on feelings, the researchers tracked 2 objective biomarkers of stress. And they found them right in our saliva, which let them measure the body's actual physiological reaction to taking a nature pill.
Okay, so the 2 biomarkers were cortisol and amylase, and they have this really interesting yin and yang relationship. Cortisol, which is the main stress hormone, naturally goes down during the day, but amylase, another stress enzyme, naturally goes up. They're controlled by completely different stress pathways, and knowing these opposite daily rhythms was the key for scientists to see exactly how a dose of nature could interrupt them. So, by tracking these 2 markers, the researchers could finally answer that big question. What is the most efficient dose? Where do you get the biggest stress-reducing bang for your buck?
All right, so after all that careful science, what did they find? What is the magic number for your nature prescription?
20 to 30 minutes. That's it. That is the golden window. It's the time frame where your nature pill is working at its absolute peak efficiency to lower your stress. It's totally manageable, it's incredibly powerful, and now it's backed by science.
And the effect is pretty dramatic. I mean, look at this. On any given day, your cortisol is already dropping by about 12% an hour. But if you take a nature pill, that drop more than doubles. You get an extra 21% reduction per hour on top of that. That is a massive impact. And this table really shows why that 20 to 30-minute window is the sweet spot. It's right there that you get the fastest rate of cortisol reduction. Now, don't get me wrong, after 30 minutes, the benefits absolutely continue, but the rate of stress reduction just starts to level off a little bit.
But the researchers found another really interesting wrinkle in the data. It begs the question, does it matter how you take your nature pill? You know, should you be sitting still, or is it okay to go for a stroll? And this is exactly where that second biomarker, amylase, comes back into the picture. So while cortisol told them how long you need, amylase revealed a super interesting detail about what you should be doing while you're out there.
The results here were fascinating. For people who were just sitting or maybe doing some really light activity, their amylase levels dropped big time. But for the folks who were taking a casual walk, there was no measurable change at all from their normal daily levels.
So here's the crucial takeaway. You still get that awesome, powerful cortisol reduction whether you sit or walk. But, and this is a big but, if you choose to sit down and just rest, you get an extra stress-busting boost because both of your stress markers go down.
Okay, so let's put all this amazing science into practice. Here's your official, science-backed, daily nature prescription.
And really, it just boils down to these 4 simple steps. 1, find a spot that feels like nature to you. A park, a trail, even just a tree on your street. 2, hang out there for 20 to 30 minutes. 3, if you can, sit and rest to get that full 2-for-1 benefit. And finally, number 4, unplug. No phone calls, no scrolling social media, just be there.
The main thing to remember here is that this isn't just about feeling better. A small, totally manageable dose of nature creates a real, measurable, physiological change in your body's chemistry that actively fights off stress. And that really leaves us with a much bigger question, doesn't it? Now that we actually have the prescription, how can we start designing our cities and our communities to make it easier for every single person to get this daily dose? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks for watching.